And what was that journey like, onboarding 2,000 people in 3 months or
It was
3,000?
crazy. It was, I remember when you do your MBA, there are a lot of flowery pictures are there in your mind. When you come to the real world, you know, okay, no, this is the real thing. So you have to live with it. And my boss was always like, whenever I come to you, I say कि इतना है, and I always say कि हाँ हो जाएगा. कहते कि मतलब मैं इतने टेंशन के साथ आता हूँ, and you when you say कि हाँ हो जाएगा, and always think worst. कि अच्छा क्या होगा? ज़्यादा नहीं होगा ना? CEO बच्चे हमें सुनाएगा आके कि नहीं हुआ.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Talent Ed with me, Nikhil. Uh, it's a podcast highlighting the role of our silent superheroes in the recruitment in the corporate world, who are our recruiters, our talent acquisition experts. And I'm your host, Nikhil. I am the co-founder of Suitable.ai, a B2B talent referral marketplace. And for the past 5 years, I have had the pleasure of interacting with a lot of talent acquisition experts, recruiters, and even candidates. And it breaks my heart when I see that the role which, or the role or the perseverance which a talent acquisition expert shows in their job is not recognized. So for a long time, I wanted to do this podcast. And, if you are a recruiter who feels underappreciated at work, or if you are a candidate who wants to see about how the other side of the table thinks, or even if you are an HR expert or a person in the HR domain who just wants to seek some inspiration, this podcast is for you. And it's about time that we celebrate the people who make and contribute whatever they have in to make build the most important fabric of any organization, that is talent. In our first episode, in our inaugural episode, we have with us someone who is a reluctant talent acquisition expert. She did not want to do TA, but now is a director of talent acquisition at one of the most loved and popular internet consumer brands, Shadi. And the story is about her. It's not just about Shadi, it's about her previous experiences with the likes of Samsung, HCL, India Bulls, Kotlam Group. And from wondering when she can leave office at 5 o'clock, like her colleagues, to being interviewed by Anubhav Mittal himself, she has left and seen a lot of it in the process. And there's a lot of things to learn from her. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and pleasure to present to you our first guest today, uh, Richa Chauhan. Thank you, Richa, for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Nikhil. I feel honored, that I feel so good, giving the first episode for this. So thank you so much for
Yeah,
inviting me for this specific episode.
no. The pleasure is all mine. And last evening, we were talking about what are the things that we can discuss. And one thing which I felt, which I also discussed with my co-founder was, the genuine care for candidates that you have. When you talked about the fact that talent acquisition is about the candidates as well, their stakeholdership. So we will talk, there's a lot to talk about today. So starting with your journey, I mean, I found it very inspirational from your, entire journey from 2009 till today. So if you could just take our audience through what was it like, and how did you end up leading talent acquisition in such a popular brand?
Okay, like I said, we spoke yesterday also. So it's like, I did my MBA in 2009 and it was like a recession time. And when it was a recession time, HR is something for sales, you always have job. But when it comes to HR, you always have lesser scope of jobs because for under, 100 people, you have one person who, manage those 100 folks. So when I was doing MBA, I was also aspiring to become a HR for core HR. And when you do MBA, you don't know, okay, talent acquisition is different, competition is different, and all that stuff.
Yes, please break it down. The function of HR for our audience,
Yeah,
because I don't think many people know about it. I think not many people know about it. Yeah.
Okay, so when I say human resources, human resources is not just talent acquisition. It is a like full fledged. It has a different, pods. When I say it has talent acquisitions, it's all about the candidate journey or the employee journey, right? Person's hired, then person joins, and then person continue the entire journey where he goes through the training and development process. He goes through the performance appraisals, then he goes through the, overall career development. And then one day comes when person decide, okay, I want to move out of it. So that's the exit management, the full and final sort of thing. And all this also requires some sort of operational tasks, managing salaries and all this. So that's called HR operation. So HR itself has multiple, division or multiple parts in it. So coming back to my journey, like I said, I started my career in 2009, and I got my first campus offer, and I was supposed to join that day. And when I went to that office, they said, we are sorry, we do not have that position open right now. Do you want to join in sales? And I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then, somebody coming out of the fresh zone, and you are so excited about your new job. And when the market is not great and you have that offer in hand and you feel excited, and suddenly you get to know, oh, there's no job. And at that time, I was in, Delhi, and I was traveling back to my home through that Delhi metro. And I was just thinking, oh, what will I tell my dad? He was so excited. Oh, my daughter has got a job. Every parent is excited about it. And he was also pretty excited. And I was like, what will I tell to my parents? What will they think about it? And all those stuff. I was just thinking about all those stuff. And then, for in next 15, 20 days, I got another offer because I did my internship in Bharti Airtel. So the same mentor called me. He got to know that, this is what happened with me. And he said, hey, Richa, I have one opening, but to come and join us. Because that execute HR is also an RPO. And they said, we are just starting a thing. So you come and join us as a management training. I said, okay, because I did not have job and I did not want to sit at home. So I said, okay, let's join that. And then I joined as a management training because Ericsson was one of their clientele, that they recently onboarded at that time. And I joined that. And within few months itself, I became one of the key person of that specific account. I became the specific spok for at Gurgaon. And like I said, I was just seeing few folks one day, going back home, sitting in a cab at 5 o'clock. And I was like thinking, oh my God, what is happening? And one of the person, I still know the name of the person. His name was Dheeraj. He was, I think, at that time at a manager level. And I was at a very executive level. And he just came and he said, what happened, Richard? What are you looking? I said, no, I'm just thinking, when will the time come when I will also, pack my bag and go back at 5 o'clock? So, and he said few things that I discussed yesterday also, those words are still, with me. And the same word, sentence, I keep on telling my team members.
What did he say?
So he specifically said, Richa, एक simple सा फंडा है लाइफ का, जो जितना काम करता है उसको उतना ही काम दिया जाता है, और जिसको जितना काम दिया जाता है वो उतना ही ग्रो करता है. So these three sentences, very simple sentences. ऐसा कोई rocket science नहीं है, it's kind of, but these three sentences are like, still I'm carrying those sentences. And I keep on telling my team, keep on taking additional responsibilities. When you take additional responsibility, you have a lot of things to talk about, and then it will take you a longer journey, and you will grow in the system. Not even in the system, because no one is married to one organization. They have to move on, and then they grow, right? So it's okay to take more additional responsibility. And then after execute HR, like I said, I never wanted to be part of talent. I always wanted to be a full-fledged business partner HR. And that time, I did not aware about this business partner HR role as such. It was like,
what is business partner HR role?
Yeah, it was like, the business partner HR role is nothing. It's more of an employee relation role where you partnering with the business, you partnering with the employee, and understand the need of the business and cater that need and understand your employee pain area, discuss with them, plan their things. So keep on talking to employees, understanding, engaging with them, retaining your talent, managing your attrition, all these.
So is it okay to say that talent acquisition more about acquiring talent than HR being
retaining? Absolutely, absolutely. So I never wanted to, and then I got a call from Samsung, and then they said we have and that time it was nothing like business partner. At that time it was just an HR generalist role. This business partner role, this jargon has come in 2013, 14. At that time, 2010, it was just HR generalist role. So they said we have a HR generalist role. I said okay, and it was a contractual role. It was not a full-time role, but still I was excited because I wanted to move on to that talent acquisition thing. And I joined Samsung.
It was the brand of Samsung that was it.
Samsung. Yeah, it was the brand of Samsung, and more than brand, I was more keen in that HR generalist role. I wanted to be like, no, I don't want to do it TA time. And then I
Why,
joined that.
why did you not want to do TA?
I did not want to do TA. I was like, well, every day I just keep on taking interviews, keep on taking interviews. It is so boring. Asking people personal life, why should I ask what are they doing? What are that? Well, hardly matters to me. So when I was so young, it was a maybe immature thing at that time. And when you do MBA, recruitment is just one part. You feel, when you ask somebody why do you want to do MBA, most of my colleagues used to say, oh, I want to do MBA because I love talking to people. Honestly, I don't love talking to people, to be very honest. I am very introvert sort of person. So I'm like, I have to meet so many people at one day itself. Oh, this is one my cup of tea somewhere. Because meeting new people, I'm not that sort of person, keep on doing networking. So I got contractual job at Samsung, and within a month, in fact, within less than a month itself, I converted into full-time role, maybe because of my performance and whatever. And then I become actual business partner for my Gurgaon squad. And then the destiny has something else in in their hand. So again, the global recruitment role came up in Samsung. We were setting up Samsung SDS Korea over, and my boss called me, Richa, कल से आ जाओ दिल्ली के ऑफिस में, गुड़गांव नहीं जाना है. Like, what happened? Why is he calling me there? And then he said, Riches, we have a role for you. This is a global recruitment role. And for one and a for a few days, you have to go to Seoul, that is Korea. You have to do your training. You have to understand the process, procedures and everything, and then you come back. I was like, भाई मुझसे तो पूछ तो लो, मुझे करना भी करना है.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I always had that feel कि whatever come in my way, I don't say कि नहीं मुझे नहीं करना है. It's okay. I take it as a challenge. Okay, and because it was a global role, and of course I was getting a foreign trip, so I was of course excited. Okay, this is my first business trip. So I said, yeah, I will take this, and I took this, and then I started.
How was the experience like there, like in Korea, getting trained in talent acquisition?
It was great. It was great. They were it was a training program for me. They were telling me about their Samsung history and all those stuff. It was 3 to 7 days a training program. So I went through their procedures. What is their expectation when it comes to, because at that time, cloud computing was very new thing. All this stuff, cloud and all SaaS. Those were new words in the market. So Hadoop, all.
This is
12.
2012.
12,
Yeah.
12, yeah, Hadoop and all, yeah. These are the new things that people were talking about. So for that technology, I had to hire because I was more into. So from telecom hiring, I came into tech hiring, completely IT hiring. So then I started learning about that, and then I started hiring people there. I started managing cameras also, and I started enjoying that role specifically. And then from there, the journey of again coming back to talent acquisition piece. Then I joined again talent again. Then I got offer from HCL. HCL, I used to hire somewhere around like 500, 600 people in a month in HCL Technologies. Then from sourcing, lead, I became a sourcing planner. Then become a sourcing planner, and then the talent supply chain lead. All those roles because they keep on coming.
In them. So what is the sourcing planner and what is the supply chain?
So those were the new jargons at that time because earlier it only used to be sourcing or the recruitment. So now what happened when it comes to IT service, the new sort of model they have started adopting, which was one is sourcing team and the other was a processing team. Sourcing team is the one who manages candidates. Processing team is the one who manages business, and talent supply chain team is the one who manages the requirement of the business, and then they decide whether this person to be filled internally or whether this person need to be given to the recruitment team. And then the sourcing planner roles come where sourcing planner play a role between sourcing team and the processing team. Then whether this person to be given to vendor, whether this person to be given to employer referral, whether this person to be filled through from different channels. So sourcing planner one who define your sourcing strategy. So for 1 year, I was like sourcing lead, where I was completely hiring people from outside, and my processing team used to release just offer, negotiating, releasing offer, and understanding the requirement from the WPC team. In some organization, it called a WPC team as well. So, and then I became a sourcing planner because then they said, because the requirement is so huge, so there has to be one person to keep on defining the sourcing strategy, that which channel we should go. So then, I got into that role. And then from there...
How do you decide which channel, like what determines which channel to source from, like outsource it or inside?
Yeah, so it all depends upon the business need. And so, for example, if I need people, where I don't need too much of knowledge, maybe I go for freshers only, where I can put money in my training cost and I hire fresher. When it comes to a new technology, of course, I would prefer to take help from the consultant as well. I take help from the social media as well. I take help from my direct team as well. So how we can balance out between my vendor, between my employer referral, when should I release employer referral mailer? What kind of position should I put it on my social media? What kind of position should I not put it on your social media? So all those things used to play by
And
a
these are
sourcing planner.
decisions which have lasting impact also, like because the
Right.
requirements there, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have to when I become a sourcing planner, I have to tell my sourcing leads if I have 500 requirement, and with these 500 requirement, you can give only these very requirement to consultant. So that sourcing lead was not defining it. You move to which person to give to whose vendor. It's a sourcing planner who was deciding that which channel which should I use it. And then after that, startup boom was there, which was 2000, I think 13, 14. Yeah, it was a startup boom. Came up in 2015, I guess. And then I joined PropTiger.com. And the reason was very simple because it was again a tech hiring piece. And of course, startup gives you good money. So that was also one of the reasons because HR, IT services, they do not pay that well. So I was thinking, okay, let me just go to the next level. And I joined and they were giving me role hike and everything was giving good opportunity was there. So then they interviewed Rohit Hasti was the one who hired me for PropTiger.com. And then I joined PropTiger. There I was managing completely, technology, product and design hiring. And
So this
there
was your
scaled
first
up the
stint
team.
working with a high growth startup, right? Before that, it was all established company, then a RPO. So what was the difference like for like aspirants in talent acquisition who are confused whether they should join a startup or whether they should go for a brand? Like what advice do you give?
See, if you want to, it all depends what's your aspirations, right? I think for a fresher, you should always join a company where you can learn a lot. You can get a scope of learning. Uh, if you're joining startup, I think you will get a lot of you will have a lot of scope, in terms of learning because one person is doing multiple things. So you learn a lot of if you're if you want to focus, you want to have, I want to do only in this line. I don't want to become, I don't want to experiment myself in multiple fields. Then go to settled organization because there the processes are more, settled, set. You don't have to do multiple things. One person is doing only one thing. Like I said, when I joined HCL, one time I was only sourcing lead. One time I was only sourcing planner. And then the team who is only just doing offer negotiation, offer rollout and all that stuff. There are companies who have specifically they have onboarding desk. That person only keeps on taking care of joinings and everything. So it all depends. What do you want from your career? You want to learn everything in a like if you are in pitch and you want to learn everything in shortest span of time, please go and join startup. And if you can take pressure. If you want an easy life, you don't want to take any pressure and you don't want to focus in only one area, you go and join settled organization. So that is a person can decide and define their career. After Crop Tiger, I got married. I shifted to Bombay, and then this thing happened because, of course, I joined. Then, of course, I was working with Crop Tiger, and it was a plan that I would, join. Again, my manager, Rohit Hasti, he gave me an offer that okay, we have one position in Pune. Why don't you go and join Pune as a VP HR, as a regional HR? But due to my personal circumstances, I couldn't take transfer to Pune because I was in Bombay itself. So then I decided to leave that specific job. In fact, my boss simply asked me, "Are you sure you have good offer in that?" I said, "Yes, yes, I have good offer in." And then I joined Euphoria Technology. It was completely business driven organization where I was a RPO head. I was onboarding client over there. So they had planned it was a plan and they are starting their RPO division. And because I had previous experience in talent acquisition, they wanted somebody who has full fledged experience. And I also did RPO, so they hired me. But after I think 2-3 months, I got to know that they said, okay, I think it's not doing that great. So they said they need to, stop that specific function. They want to dismantle that. So then, of course, if they wanted to dismantle, at that time, by that time, I had already onboarded 2-3 clients. There was one Godrej Nature Basket, and we were in discussion of onboarding India Bulls. But when they decided we had to dismantle this, then I told Sagar Padapukar, who was the head of HR at that time, hey, we are dismantling this, so maybe this contract will not continue, so we have to stop it right here.
Richa, just to interrupt here, for people who know what RPO is recruitment process
outsourcing.
So wherein you supply recruiters as a on-demand.
Absolutely. It's an end-to-end recruitment process outsourced.
Yes.
Then the Sagar called me and he said, hey, in any case, your job particular thing is, getting shut down. Why don't you come and join me? Because I have a requirement and BFSI or NBFC 70% role you have to do is the hiring. So I was like, okay, and why I took this role? Because I always have that interest. I want to get into this zonal HR or the HR's employer relation wala piece. So then I decided, okay, just give me both the things. So I want to enjoy both the things. Like it's giving me talent acquisition thing also, it's giving me employer relation piece. And I said, okay, I will join that. So I joined India Bulls, and the journey in India Bulls was fab. Like when I joined, I was a senior manager. When I left after 4 years, it was the deputy general manager. When I joined, I was just managing South and West zone. When I left, I was managing national level role. When I joined, there were only 2-member teams, so I scaled that team from 2 members team to 33 members team. A lot of things were when I joined. I remember when I joined, and I was asking, okay, how much time it takes for a person to get that employee board. It was somewhere around 25 days, and I was shocked. I mean, the person is getting tapped out after 25 days. I mean, this is too much. And then because of all the streamlining and everything, we came to that level where we were giving a SAP code. Person is joining at 9:30 and we are giving SAP code at 10:30. So that kind of streamlining that we have done in the onboarding process. When it comes to talent acquisition, we onboarded somewhere around like 2,000 people, in 2 months or in 3 months, sort of, I remember. So when I joined, it was just, somewhere around, I think, 1,200 or 1,300 something, or 2,000, I think, strength was there. But when I left, the entire, this India Bulls security, India Bulls Dhani group, because the name was changed into Dhani, it was somewhere around more than 10,000 employees.
Wow. And what was that journey like? Like onboarding 2,000 people in 3 months or 3,000 people in 3
months? It was crazy. It was, I remember, because we got to...
And it's very not want to do TA.
But that was fun, because then I started enjoying. When we started, it was, when you do your everything, a lot of flowery pictures are there in your mind. When you come to the real world, okay, no, this is the real thing. So you have to live with it. And then better you start enjoying it. So that's how it happened then. You don't have choice. It is better always to enjoy that, right? And cherish that thing. So the journey in India was crazy, I would say. It's absolutely crazy. Because I remember, there was only 2 members in my team, and then I gradually it became like a 3 or 4 member. And then one day Sagar said, hey, we need to hire 4,000 folks by December 2021 or 22, I think 21, I guess. So 2021, not 21, it was 2019 it was. Yeah, it was 2019. I said 2,000 people in 3 months. Like, okay. Then I said, ho jayega. And my boss was always like, my manager always like, whenever I come to you, I say कि इतना है, and I always say कि हाँ हो जाएगा. कहते कि मतलब मैं इतने टेंशन के साथ आता हूँ, and you when you say कि हाँ हो जाएगा. So I always have that habit. I don't take stress, because I always feel if you take stress, it will not help.
Yes.
So always have plan B according to me, plan A के साथ, and always think worst. I always think worst. कि अच्छा क्या होगा? ज़्यादा नहीं होगा ना, CEO पता हमें सुनाएगा आके कि नहीं हुआ. So I always think of worst कि ये होने वाला है, या होगा कि हम इतने ऑफर रोल आउट करेंगे और इतने लोग ड्रॉप हो जाएंगे. So that always gave me confidence, and always tell my team also the same thing. Think about worst and always plan for plan B. Do not only rely on plan A. So this is what we did.
Like, did you outsource it to vendors, or what was the strategy?
No, we did not. We thought, and we tried also, but it did not work. It did not work because my internal team was doing far better than than any external company. Because the thing is, the RPO also takes time, right? Because I have worked in RPO, so I know these recruiters also takes time. It's not their fault. You can't see, they do not have magic stick that you expect कि नहीं वो 3 months में आपकी सारी hiring खत्म कर देंगे. It takes time to understand business. The kind of understanding that the internal person will have, it does not have that external person will not understand in 1 month itself, right? It's a journey. So, and the kind of urgency that we can understand about our business, RPO will not be able to understand. Yes, RPO is a good thing for the longer stand, from long term perspective, but not from the short term. Yeah, 3 महीने में करने हैं, तो एक RPO ले और हो जाएगा, नहीं होता है. So what we did is we started scaling up team, but नए members आने में भी time लगता है. So I remember we did not have that much space because of course intro में बढ़ाना पड़ता है सब कुछ बढ़ाना. I remember three people were sitting at one desk. Somebody was sitting on the ground. Somebody was sitting, but the energy was super high in the team because we keep on motivating people. We keep on telling them कि करना है तो करना है. And the best part is I have always been so lucky that my team members were always fab. Like they were always, it's like I was able to do well because my team member was continuously, they were supporting.
How do you judge? How do you hire a good talent acquisition person? Like I know what like you said yesterday that they should be able to empathize and listen to what's there.
Absolutely.
But how do you judge this energy when you take an interview?
When I take interview, to be very honest, I don't need 1 hour. There are people who take 1 hour. With no offense to such folks who take 1 hour to identify whether the talent is there, whether the talent is not there. I always feel first 15 minutes of discussion are the crux of your entire interview. So I always feel if a person has learning capability and the potential, he is good for me. Rest, I will work on that person. I don't want people ready-made because if I have to take ready-made people, then what will my work like? What will I do with those persons? So
Coachability is an important skill.
sorry.
Being coachable, basically.
Yeah. First, it has to be trainable, coachable. If they are coachable, they have ability to learn new things. They are curious. For me, they are in mind. So I don't see कि अच्छा में relevant skill है कि नहीं. हाँ, of course. If I take fresher, if I see कि हाँ, the person is passionate about the thing, he's energetic and all. बाकी सब I'll take care of, at my end. 2 मिनट में जो नौकरी कैसे यूज करना है आ जाता है. And this generation is so fast. They know how to use Instagram better than me. So a tool समझाने में I don't think it takes more than 1 hour. They are better than me in surfing. So I don't think उनको मुझे ये बताना पड़ेगा कि इस पे टूल पे काम किया है, नौकरी आता है, IM job आता है. They are far better than, and they have much better brain of what I think you and me have. So I think they're
I am part of the young generation.
I'm saying yeah, okay. So even I'm not old, but still. So I'm in late 30s, so I can say that the people who are coming in like early 20s or they are smart. They are smart. So I don't have to tell them, Uh, so I always see they're passionate about their work. They want to learn new things. They are like most welcome in my team. People who are rigid, I don't want to take them, no matter how much are they skilled. So
So yeah, it's 2000 hiring journey took place in India once, and that
after that, again, Karthik Rao, who was the, who is right now CHR of Good Glam Group, he was working with PropTiger.com. He was one of my colleagues there. So one day, I think we were interacting on LinkedIn and he said he has one role and I was, and it was been 4 years. So I thought, abhi ho kya sab dekh liya, like from, role was like from zonal head to national HR head. So then I thought, abhi next role to head HR है. Abhi head HR तो तभी बन पाओगे जब मेरा हो गया. There is no point. I think okay, चलो अभी एक काम करते कुछ और किया जाए. So then we were talking and he said he has one role. I said okay, I'm open. And then we discussed and then it materialized and I joined. When I joined over there, I joined as a head of performance management. But I think at that time it was at the startup phase, and I will not blame an organization because they were at startup phase, so things didn't materialize. And then I got into talent acquisition. I scaled their team. When I joined, I think they were somewhere around 40, 45 people. When I left, somewhere around I think 120 plus people were there. So scale that talent, their tech team specifically. I still remember the CTO of Bootcamp Group is Deep. He always says, कि Richa, so I took their 3 position: head of security, head of information technology, head of security, and there was one more position, I don't remember, head of DevOps. And I just gave one profile I gave, it's close with head of security. 2 profiles I gave, it closed with head of information technology. And 1 profile I gave, and that closed for 10 profile, I closed this head of DevOps. So you always say, कहाँ से आते हैं ये profiles? So I always feel कि नहीं बस आ जाते हैं, आप interview लो and आप select करो. So it was good experience. Then because I said I always have inclination to.
this is I think what separates a good recruiter from a average recruiter is it is not the number of profiles that you send, it is the number of
Absolutely.
interviews that you get even in one profile, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think the recruiter is very important to understand what exactly my business want. If you understand what your business want, I don't think you need more than 10 profile to close a position. 10 profile is I think the highest one. You give one profile and your position gets closed. So that's how. Otherwise, if you are not content, don't give that profile to your business. So that's how. And then going back to Good journey, then I got into business partner HR role. Then business partner HR role we implemented. Then in Fido, that Amber is the thing that we implemented over there. Then again came back to this performance planning, but things didn't matter because startup works in very different ways. And I've had a 3-year-old kid, so things were not working out. So I thought I told Karthik. Then Karthik had a lot of time conversation. He kya karna hai, kya karna hai? Because Karthik is also very compassionate. So I said, Karthik, I think it's not working out. Let me just move out. And whenever I come back in that space, I'll come back and I'll join you. So he said, yes, yes. Whenever you feel like, you come back and join us. So then we very in a very cordial manner we decided, okay, let me just move away from here. And then I got a call from Shai.com, and then became, sitting in front of you at the head of TA. Give interview to Anupam, where everything was.
Like, let's spend some time on that interview experience.
Oh, okay. Interview experience with Anupam is, I would say, it was crazy. It's very different. You cannot even define that, what is he going to ask. He does not ask too many questions. He always talk, okay, what will you do? What is your, how will you do? What have you done? I think he hardly asked. I mean, with me, it does not happen. Did not happen. He asked, okay, what will you do? He asked situation based questions. He asked, and he tried to put some time to you in the situation because he asked me, don't you think that joining India was a wrong decision? It directly hit on you, sort of. And I said, no, it is not. Like it gave me a very different journey. Maybe in the market, the name of India was not that great, but personally, it helped me in my career. So this is one question which he asked, which I still remember because that actually it hit me. अच्छा मैंने wrong decision लिया था क्या India को join करने का? So that is, I think. But Anupam ki round me, there's no point of going and preparing for the interview because it will not help. Just be yourself, and it will happen. Whatever you know, just talk about it.
One very interesting thing I noticed in your journey is that referrals and networks were a very important part. You knew someone in Prop Tiger and then you got an opportunity in another company. So how important is creating a strong network and, creating a strong circle of good talent acquisition peers in a career of a talent
See, I think good work always pay you back. I always believe it. I am not that kind of person who go on chai break because I don't even drink tea, coffee, not alcoholic, absolutely, right? So if you say that I go and socialize with people, no, I don't. I hardly, because I'm very, sitting at home doing my work, a very introvert sort of, maybe doing things, working at my desk and everything, very that sort of person. But when it comes to good work, because people always respect your good work, and just be honest, your integrity part, your honesty, your dedication towards work, always help you. Maybe even if you go on chai break and you don't work, that person will not call you. But even if you don't go on chai break and don't do those socialization after office, if you do your work, you know that the person is honest, integrity is there in the work, you are sincere enough, and you're serious about your projects, then people respect that in the industry. I think that has actually helped. And if you go and ask any of my manager, any one of my, I think they will, because I'm confident they will say this. So that's the thing that I think helped me.
the work speak for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I don't think action speaks more than words. I think that applies to me.
Interesting. Richa, now, yeah, earlier you said that you did not want to do DA, but now that you have done it for so many years, now what is your perspective like? Now do you like, you're still introvert, personality
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
has not
absolutely.
changed, or I don't know if it has changed. So now what do you like about talent acquisition, because it requires a lot of dealing with candidates. So what is your take on that now?
See, when I started my career as a talent acquisition, it's a very it's a floor work sort of thing. You're calling people, you are coordinating and all that stuff. But when you grow in your career, you know the importance of it. You don't know the superficial thing. You know the gravity of this role. And now, after completing 13 years in an industry, you know that this role is really important to business. You can make difference in an organization, right? If you bring you know bad talent in an organization, it will not help, right? If you bring talented folks, and it really feels good when you bring somebody in an organization, that person is doing good, and getting getting tagged as a top performer, that you feel good. Oh, this is the person which I have hired, or this is the person which my team has hired. When you see that your organization is growing because the kind of scale that you have bring in the system, and you feel good. Okay, I have also contributed in this particular organization because this is a team that I have built. When I see the beat my India was journey, beat HCL, beat Propag, when I see my past journey, when I see that, okay, when I joined Propag, it was just very small team of technology, because at that time it was hardly 30-35 people there when I joined Propag. And then seeing that scale, adding more people, they are doing great, their tech stacks are good, all those stuff is happening. In India, of course, the journey starting from 2000 to 10,000 has gone up, and they are making business out of it. So you feel that, okay, I have done something to an organization. I am not just sitting and taking my salary. I'm justifying my cost for whatever I am being hired for. So it feels good. So I would always say,
That and the gravity is now something that you
yeah,
understand.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
How has talent acquisition as a function evolved? Like, what has been the role of technology? Tech has, HR tech is one of the booming sectors in the past 5 10 years. And what has, how has the role of talent acquisition expert also evolved in this particular field?
I think it has really evolved, and how I perceive it earlier, it's talent acquisition more over like is position I have, CV देना है, and दे दिया है, position fill कर दिया, that's it. Now it is more than that. Now talent acquisition is acting as they're acting as an expert. Let's say if my company wants to set up any office anywhere, they come and ask me, okay, will we get talent over there? They will involve me as a part of their strategy. So this is how TA has involved.
Market intelligence.
Absolutely, market intelligence. You bring that strategic angle to the business, to the function. Okay, we are doing this. Do we have talent available over there? Does it really make sense? Today, if I get any position, I ask question to my stakeholder: do you really need this person, or do we need another sort of person? Do we need to redefine this specific role? It's not like that. Some role, come to me and I say, okay, chalo hire that. Like, so it is more now. Now it has become a consultative role also. It's not just acquisition; it has become an advisory role also for this. So that's how I feel that it has evolved. That's it. And
Yeah.
with a lot of technology intervention also, of course, it has evolved.
And yesterday you were mentioning about that role you were struggling with for 8 months when you joined Chadi. If you want to talk about that, because I think that's a very good example of how a consultative approach can really help, close the difficult
Yeah,
phone
exactly. So when I joined Shai, there was one sales leadership role which was active, I think, since last 10 months. There was few offer drop up, and I will not say the team was not, but team was continuously working on that, and there were few offer drops also. When I joined, I got to know, okay, this is a role, and it was an AD level role. When I joined and when I understood the real crux, okay, this is what organization want. Then I proposed that thing, this is not, this X amount will not work in this. You have to go higher in terms of package. It is a more over sales growth sort of profile. It is not just a sales operational role. So if you want a sales growth sort of profile, you need that different sort of talent. And if you need different set of talent, you need different set of project also. And then I came back from that meeting. I sat on the LinkedIn. I just put few keywords on the LinkedIn, and I got that profile. And I sent a request to that person. That person had accepted my request. And I showed that profile to my manager, that is Ganesh. And I said, Ganesh, ये कैसा profile? He said, अच्छा तो लगा है, मिलवा दो. And he traveled out to South and he met that person. And he said, "What are the aggression missing out of Richa?" I said, because people generally say like in talent engineering, you have to be very, very aggressive. I am not aggressive. So if people take my interview and say, कि, yeah, बंदे में aggression नहीं है, तो हाँ नहीं है. But for that, you don't have to be aggressive. You have to be assertive to your role. So don't match your role with the personality. I still believe that. So I said, no, you meet that person. And that person has got till, on some level. Now he's a part of Shadi. So with that one profile, we closed that position.
Wow.
So
And it's so interesting when you say that don't match the personality with the role. Many, like, uh, recruitment, talent acquisition is very target based. I personally believe that. So
absolutely.
it's so challenging. But someone like you is not that aggressive or, so extrovert also. If the person understands the role, probably they'll be able to perform. Is this the right thing to put it?
Yeah, I think it's all about content. It's about quality. It's not about quantity. It's not about how much you speak. It's about what you speak. Right? I think that is something important. So, irrespective if you're introvert, you're extrovert, does not matter. It's about if you know the understanding, if you know your game, you are in. If you don't know your game, no matter how much you talk, how much you are extrovert, how much you go, how much are you outgoing, it's sort of person. It's just you need to understand your business. That's it.
And
And
this
be
is
right.
so when we also hire at Suitable, sometimes we have these premeditated personalities that is role में ना ऐसा ही चलेगा. And most of the times we are also disappointed. And then when we take a bet on just an individual, okay, this seems fair, and we take quick bets. Sometimes the person outperforms the people who are
Absolutely.
ideally built for that role according to their personality. So yeah, this is very true. What is how important is the candidate experience for you in talent acquisition?
I think it's very important. I think it's 50-50. If my stakeholders are important, like my business is important, similarly, my candidate is equally important because the world is very small. Like today, I'm hiring that person for this per company. Maybe tomorrow, I'm hiring that person or referring that person to some other company. So I think that relationship building, like I said, like you asked me, Richa, most of the jobs are through references. I always feel wherever it is, whichever role, whichever function, I think your integrity, respect for the other person, it really matters. Be it your business, be it your candidate. If you are calling your candidate and you are asking a candidate to wait for 2 hours, 3 hours, it will not help. It will not help. And no matter whether the person is rejected or selected, right? If that person is going out of the organization and stepping out of the gate and not taking positive experience, it is not the right thing to do. Even if the person is declining your offer, please maintain a good relation with that candidate. Because today he may have declined that offer. Maybe tomorrow for other person he may accept the offer, right? So I think it is very, very important to maintain that cordial relationship, respectful relationship with that candidate. Respect their time. Just understand that they are not beggar. It's a win-win situation. Neither you are doing a charity as an organization to a candidate, nor candidate is doing any sort of charity. It's a business. We are into business. So let's have a win-win situation. If candidate at any point of time feel that no, it's not a win-win situation, then drop off, which is okay. For that, you have to create your own buffers. You plan your thing. You plan B. Like I said, always ready for plan B. If your plan A fails, so in Shadi, we always believe in doing and creating buffers without even getting position. We start getting, okay, this is my probable attrition. Let's start identifying folks, and that's how we are building that strategy. My own OKR says that you have to build somewhere on my HCF. You have to work on critical hiring has to be 90%. Today we are sitting at a 95%, more than my target. And why? Because we continuously keep on connecting with the candidate, keep on connected with the business. We understand what business want. We know, okay, this person was not hired at that time, but we keep on, we continuously keep a track of the candidate. Okay, this person has joined that organization. Okay, maybe he's not happy with the organization. He even putting posts on LinkedIn. Maybe he wants to be visible in front of recruiter, and that's why he's putting those posts. We again connect with that person. We again trying to get those. So those sort of thing, I think, is very important. And respect. I think respect is something which is very, very important. Respect other
This
person.
can only be done if you are genuinely interested about the candidate's future. if you're faking it, probably this can't be done because it is consistent effort.
Absolutely. I think these things, see, genuine things always work in long run, right? It may impact you maybe for shorter span of time. Maybe if you tell right things to a candidate, let's say today I'm doing hybrid, right? Maybe tomorrow I will not do hybrid. I will not have hybrid office. And if I tell candidate, no, we have 3 days working, you can please come and join us. I don't tell my team to do this. My team continuously tell my candidate, right now it is hybrid. Tomorrow it may convert into work from office. So please be ready for it. So when the person is ready for work from office, then only the person will come. People who are not ready to work from office, they simply say, no, we are not ready. Which is fine. We accept that. But we don't say, no, it is always going to be hybrid. Because we don't know, right? We don't know the future. It may go back to work from home, COVID again come back, or maybe some other thing come back. But so that is.
Understand. My last thing is that like when Anupam came to Shark Tank, right? How does the company's brand impact talent acquisition? Like after that, did you see an uptick in incoming application? Now has the attitude of candidate changed or is it the same?
No, it has changed. Of course, it has changed. Like so, Alpam name itself become a brand name for us, right? People used to know Shadi, yes, earlier also, but after Anupam coming in Shark Tank, now as a celebrity and everything, of course, that has helped. So definitely we cannot deny from that fact that branding has helped us a lot because now when we go, go to Canada, we say we are calling Shadi.com. They have different sort of respect for us. People wants to work with Shadi
Yes.
because we have that, culture. We don't do layoffs. We don't do these bakers and all those stuff. So this is what we have that culture. So that is we are very careful while hiring people. We don't do over hiring. We do over hiring and then we start people to please go. We don't do that. If we think the market is not that great, let's hold on some critical role. Only few critical roles need to be hired. So this is what we do.
And this was reflected when I was talking to Mayuresh also the other day that this kind of
Okay.
approach, not overriding, and I think this is going to happen with a lot of companies in the future.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
how was your experience like, Richa, with this the talented, and what is your like? Uh, do you agree that this is a good initiative to change the way people perceive talent acquisition experts in
Yeah, I
our
think absolutely. Absolutely. It is a good way. I think it is a rather changing perception. I would say it is a good way for the people who are fresher, who wants to take decision whether they want to go with talent acquisition, what is there in talent acquisition. So that will give a very different perspective to all the candidates because if I were in 2009, if I would have this kind of accesses, maybe my perception is different. I would not, be dating with the PHR and like any kind of maybe somebody was there, so it is a very good initiative and it is very it's good. I think for fresher it is very good, and for different communities it is good because for TA they know what they are doing, so for them it's like a no, not a new thing, but people from the other community, for them and people who wants to make a career in TA, I think for these folks, for such folks, it is really good. It's a good initiative.
and and it is I mean, I must thank you for all the time that you have given. I know you are a busy person, and yesterday also you gave us time, and today also. So thanks a lot, Richa. And there are so
Thank
many
you.
things I wanted to discuss, but probably we'll do it in a later part of it because I don't want to overextend it. And it was a pleasure talking to you. So thanks a lot, and look forward to meeting you also in person whenever you are in Delhi, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks,
Okay.
Nikhil. Thank you so much.
Bye, Risha. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Yeah, bye bye.